Good morning. Joining us right now in studio, Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. A lot of news to get to, and you've been following all of it, Tom, so you're the perfect guy to interview on this subject this morning. Paul Manafort, the campaign chairman for Donald Trump for a short time during the Trump campaign, yesterday found guilty, a jury convicted him in Alexandria of 8 counts of bank and tax fraud. 10 other counts they were hung on, so they weren't able to come to a conclusion. What does all of this say about Bob Mueller's investigation into Russian collusion?
Well, it says if you have unlimited resources, you're able to go after someone like Paul Manafort and get him convicted. And if you're willing to raid a man's home with guns drawn to photograph his suits, you're willing to let his partner get away with the same crimes with virtually no prison time and have him be as a witness against him, you're going to get your conviction. It doesn't say anything about whether we need a special counsel to do any of that. In theory, the only reason for a special counsel was because there was a conflict because the DOJ was prosecuting the former campaign chair of the president's campaign. But remember, he was hired to investigate Russia collusion, and the Russia collusion link is non-existent in this charge. It doesn't have anything to do with the president. So to the degree this conviction is being used to justify the continued abusive and out-of-control investigation of Mr. Mueller, I'm not convinced. Well, I understand that, and that's why I call it out of control. So you have a special counsel that investigates anything, as long as no one says peep at the Justice Department or the Justice Department approves. And, you know, to me, that's not what we have a special counsel to do. We have a special counsel to investigate specific crimes against people who the Justice Department has no possible way of investigating without showing an appearance of a conflict of interest. And frankly, I don't think you should have a special counsel that is given the sort of charge someone like Mueller's been given, which is so elastic as to make him essentially an entire Justice Department unto himself.
I see, Politico covering this. They say Mueller wins more than a conviction in Manafort case, and saying that legal experts call the outcome a clear success that will reassure Mueller's defenders. This is, quote, unquestionably a win for the special counsel. This according to Timothy Belevitz, a former assistant U.S. attorney from the Eastern District of Virginia. Quote, it strengthens the special counsel's mandate by demonstrating the office is productive and is achieving results. That kind of, I realize you're making the case here that, yes, but it flies in the face of the whole point of the special counsel.
We don't need a special counsel to prosecute these types of crimes.
Right.
If he had uncovered this Manafort tax fraud information, what he should have done was said to the Justice Department, look, there's no reason the U.S. attorney in Virginia or in the District of Columbia, where there's another case pending against Manafort, could have prosecuted this. And Rosenstein should have said, yes, you're right, and we'll take it from here. Thank you for pointing this information out to us, but we don't need a special counsel. 20 prosecutors assigned to one category of cases because justice demands that we make these prosecutors available for real substantial investigations that relates to Russia collusion. But of course, there is no Russia collusion. So this is what Mueller's doing.
I heard some stuff yesterday, some coverage that suggesting that this is purchasing leverage from Mueller with Manafort. Is there anything? He just went to trial. He didn't plea out. So how does this purchase leverage at all with Paul Manafort? Does Paul Manafort become more cooperative now that he's been found guilty?
Well, maybe there's information he has that suggests that there was collusion, knowing collusion between the Russians and the Trump campaign. It would be astonishing if that were the case. This investigation, the Mueller investigation, has done multiple indictments related to Russia collusion on the key aspects of what we understand to be Russia collusion, the email hacking, assault on our election systems, and the placement of fake stories on Facebook and places like that by Russia front entities and pretend Americans, none of which showed there was any known collusion with any political campaign. What else is there in terms of Russia collusion that even Manafort would have? I don't buy any of it. Yeah, I would think it continues well into next year. I don't think the president and Mueller are still in a dance about whether the president will be interviewed by Mueller. I don't think the president should be interviewed by Mueller, but we'll see what happens over the next year. And of course, the Cohen indictment, which I guess we can talk about a little later, is going to be another X factor because who knows what sort of stories Cohen is going to tell, given the stories he was telling yesterday in court.
Yeah, Michael Cohen's guilty plea to campaign finance violations. We'll talk about in just a second with Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, staying right here with us, 743 on WMAL.